This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to Essentially Dacob, where we talk perfumes and the love and joy that they bring. Not just in spring. Let's all sing. I could go rhyming like this all day long, but it's Halloween time because as I'm reviewing this perfume, we are in October. We are counting down to Halloween, as you've perhaps noticed on my Essentially Dacob YouTube channel. The topics in my videos for October are a little bit more spooky than usual. So today I thought the best chance of kind of combining the best of two worlds, meaning the spooky and the sniffy, smelly, Louis Vuitton has a perfume that might not perhaps be Halloween-ish, but the name of it could be something that a witch could do. Because what does a witch do? The witch puts a spell on you. So I got a little sample of Louis Vuitton's Spell on You. Now, of course, it's very highly illuminated here, so you probably won't see the little delicate inscription there, but I'm going to show you here that I can zoom it in. Louis Vuitton Spell on You, the Eau de Parfum concentration, or at least I think it's Eau de, yes, it is the Eau de Parfum concentration. So it kind of, the second I saw the name, Spell on You, I felt like, ooh, very Halloween. This one was released in 2021. Let me spray it on. And let's see how this baby goes. Wait, does this have a little bit of glitter or something in there? Because it has a little bit of a sheer to it. No. No, it's just the residue of my makeup. Okay, so Spell on You. 2021 is the release. The nose behind it is Jacques Cavalier, like he is the head perfumer of all Louis Vuitton fragrances. So of course he is also the nose behind this one. The ingredients, top notes. Oh, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, by the way, while you're at it. Top notes, violet, Tuscan iris, and green notes. Middle notes, again, iris, Chinese jasmine, and rose. And the base notes, white musk, peach. Interesting that the peach is in the base notes. Usually peach is somewhere in the upper notes. And the acacia or acacia flower. Musk is the only element in here that kind of grounds it and makes it feel more substantial. All of these other notes, the iris and the violet, if we think about Misia from Chanel, the violet in that one is bombastic. And if you've smelled Misia, you know what violet can do to a perfume. Here, very subdued, very toned down. This is more of a buttery aspect of iris. Iris can go very powdery, but you could also have iris butter. And this one goes into that buttery direction of an iris. It is a interesting composition because it is cooling and soothing, even though the musk is supposed to heat it up a little bit. It's kind of, the green notes are a bit screechy. Not screechy in the way that we're used to from cheaper perfumes, when stuff is a little bit metallic. No, it's just that it's like the green notes are battling for all the powdery subtones that are coming out later. You're kind of sniffing them out already because, as I said, we got this, the Tuscan iris is both in the top notes and in the mid notes. So this one is all about the iris. And then you have the Chinese jasmine. Now, I do not know, quite frankly, from my personal experience, what the difference is in terms of smell. How delicately different and nuanced is the smell of a Chinese jasmine as opposed to any other jasmine, really, a Spanish jasmine. You know, the Jasminum grandiflorum that we're kind of used to from Spain, what have you. How does it differ? Or how does it differ to the jasmine sambac? Now, the sambac jasmine, the night blooming jasmine, I can smell out a big difference between the night blooming jasmine and the day blooming jasmine. The day blooming jasmine being much more indolic, the night blooming jasmine being more warm. But this here, this is a very soapy, buttery concoction. And I wonder what, oh, it's the peach. It's the peach. Yeah, it's the peach that's putting me off. I gotta say, it's very balmy, creamy, buttery, lotiony kind of type of vibe, but dry. It's not an oily, lotiony type of vibe. You know, like you would have from, let's say, Giorgio Beverly Hills, that type of sunshine. This thing is more cool. It's an interesting, cool thing, but the peach turns it into a fleshy, fruity hue. What the perfume, I wouldn't say it's freshy and fruity, but the peach, you know, I don't know you guys, but I have a particular relationship to peach. I love how peaches taste, but unlike other fruits, I don't like how peaches smell on my fingers after I've cut a peach or I've eaten it, and the juice of the peach or the skin of the peach that rubs off my fingers, you know, the smell of the fruit of the peach on my skin smells to me like a fruit version of flesh. It smells like meat that's slightly rotting. It's a very particular smell, the peach, and it's like butter mixed with flesh, but in a fruit. If envision it, if it were a fruit. So peach has a very aggressive smell, and it's in here. That element of the peach, which I usually don't like that much, it's here. Not that I don't like peach in general in perfumes. There are some amazing Guerlain perfumes that play Mitsuko. What a masterful way of using a peach, but the peach there is completely abstract and transformed into something Chypre-esque, totally different. Here the peach is more true to itself. It's like, you got a peach in this perfume, boo. You got a violet. You got a rose. You know, you got the Chinese jasmine. You got the synthetic musk. You got the acacia or acacia, whatever you want to call it. It's very structured, you know? It's very much like what you smell is what's in here. There is no particular magical blending of the different parts, which brings me to the point, if there's no magical blending of the different parts, at least in the opening notes, why are we calling this perfume Spell on You? And mind you, it is called Spell on You. It's not I put a spell on you or put a spell on you. No, there's no putting anything. It's just spell on you. So I'm thinking, does this have anything to do with putting a spell? Or does it have to do with spelling something out? Like, can you spell the word Louis Vuitton? Can you spell the word Louis? Or can you spell out the name Louis? But then you wouldn't say spell on you. Like, I'm spelling something on you. I'm going to write Louis Vuitton on, I'm going to spell it out on your forehead. No, I think they're implying that it's like putting a spell on you, but Debbie says spill on you. No, it's with an E, not with an I. Definitely they spelled it with an E. Oh, Jack says, well, I put a spell on you. Might be copywritten, righted or written. Dragon Ball says, but I may be rigid and don't really know a lot about perfumes, but I like them to either be flowery or fruity, not both. That's a good point, Dra, because in fact, it can go very wrong. If you mix, it can go amazing. It can be great, you guys. Acacia, says Jesus. If you, the fruity and the floral notes, they can really harmonize very well, but it takes a masterful nose to make them harmonize. Jacques Cavalier is that masterful. He can do that. But it can go very wrong as well if the fruity and the flower don't kind of, you know, and here, it feels like it's so bizarre. And let me tell you why, because as I'm talking to you and I'm moving my arm, I get, you know, whiffs of it. And from a distance, it smells really good. And from a distance, it's very, very intensely irisy, powdery. So as I'm waving my arm, I get the powdery iris. Somewhere in the midsection, I get the rose. But when I come very close to smell my arm, I get the full-blown peach, and I don't like it. Because the peach is kind of dirty with the iris and the rose and the jasmine. There's a bit of everything on top of that peach, but the peach kind of comes more to the forefront when you're closer, when you're sniffing your arm closer. And it don't work. At a distance, it's really pleasant, very, very pleasant smell, which brings me to an interesting point. And that is that, you know, usually I also say perfumes to me, if they're complicated, that's a good sign. That's not a bad sign. This one seems to be quite complex, even though it's pretty simple, really, in its structure, in terms of what they decide to tell us are the ingredients inside of this. It smells simple, yes, but I smell out already all of these hues that are like tingling, that are kind of like little molecules or neutrons that kind of try to split away from the perfume, but then they kind of retract again, and you get the whole feeling, the whole body and fleshiness of the perfume when you're close to it. But when you kind of go away from it, it does kind of spark these different olfactory particles in this, and maybe it is kind of effervescent in a way. It's lovely, you know. I wouldn't say it's putting a spell on me, but because of this kind of effervescence of it, that could be a little bit like a little titillating moment. It could be a little bit of a sort of a magic spell, you know, like boom, 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 you know, fireworks coming out of a perfume, but very delicate ones, little floral ones, and a little bit of fruity notes as well. Also, what is fascinating about this one, there is some sort of subtone. Yeah. My little Louis toiletry pouch with the leather tab here. The Louis Vuitton Vachetta leather, for those of you who know or who have these pieces or who have smelled them before, it has a particular smell. Pardon me. Oh, hold on. Need a sip. And yeah. So if you take away the jasmine out of this and a little bit of that floral aggression, it does have a reminiscence of the Vachetta leather, which, you know, there's no leather in this. I wonder if Jacques Cavalier, if he would have added any leather in here, maybe we would be on to something, Jacques, because I love the way these little leather things smell. Like, love. Oh man, I love the Vachetta leather. It smells really, really divine. And this thing, if you distance it just right from your nose at a certain distance, it refracts the molecules in a way that it kind of it's reminiscent of the Vachetta leather. But the closer you get and the more peach you get, and it's off. But as I said before, the peach does have a fleshy tone, like a leathery fleshy tone in a way. And somehow it also reminds me of Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know why. The movie, it gives me a Holly Golightly mode. It gives me that Audrey Hepburn with her little crown, walking in the morning, you know, towards Tiffany's, looking at the window while she's eating her croissant with the coffee. Oh man, how much I love that opening scene. It's giving me that vibe because it's complicated. Like, you know, that woman has issues. You know, she's carrying a lot of baggage. She's walking home You know, she's passing by Tiffany's, she's dreaming of something she can't have. Like, you know, from the get-go, there's baggage with that person. And yet you want to see more. She's beautiful to see. She's beautiful to behold, but there's sorrow and pain in there. And I'm not saying this one is that complex, but it does deliver that simplicity of a fruity floral, musky subtones, but it goes into that realm of, yeah, I might appear cutesy, effervescent, but there is a very precise idea and structure of my history within me. And it's a sober, clean fragrance, but there's hints of something hiding in there. It's not bad. Draw says, leather and breakfast. I like this. I'm gonna try it. This alone doesn't smell like leather. So just letting you know. Edu says, an example that when it goes bad, Lancôme la vie est belle. Oh, you don't like that one, Edu? Denise says, I was trained in fragrance by, Roja Dove. What an amazing experience. Congratulations, Denise. I'm waiting for it. You know, I'm talking to you guys and I'm waiting for it to like calm down, to settle down. I'm not saying we're going to get to the dry down in this review, but we're getting close to something that resembles a dry down. And also, what is fascinating, I also have my little notebook here, and I'm smelling paper. It goes very well with paper. Does that make any sense? It blends in so nicely with paper. Like you sniff paper, and then you smell this, and it's it stays fresh. Paper is a dry smell. The vaqueta leather is a leathery particular smell. This one, it's floral. It doesn't go away from floral. It stays powdery because it has a double iris in it. The peach it can be irritating, but now as it's drying down, it also gives me like late 90s vibes. It reminds me of some perfume from the late 90s. It could have been a late 90s fragrance. It's like Jacques Cavalier in the beginning of the 90s, after he did Classique. It's like he's kind of evolving, but devolving, because we are in 2021 and this thing does smell like a late 90s perfume. But it smells newer than Classique, less complex than Classique, obviously. It's more of a niche fragrance. It doesn't smell like a mass release product. I still love Classique to bits, but powdery rose, it has something. It makes me smile because I'm realizing more and more. It has something of Classique in there, you guys. Denise says, I love how you talk about fragrance. It's all about the memories it brings. It really is. Fascinating. Simple structure, but it has the right intensity. Um, Smells quite hefty in terms of it attached itself to me. It's not something that I feel, well, I have to test it out to really know if this thing is going to have a longevity, 10 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. But now, as of now, it feels to me as if it's something that's going to stick around for at least 5 or 6 hours. It does bring a smile to. I don't know why. I listen, honestly, right now I would not tell you this warrants a full bottle purchase because they're super expensive, and this one it doesn't. It's not groundbreaking, you know. It doesn't warrant that price tag. But for people who have the money to just drop and go with pleasant fragrances that give you a little smile on your face, this is it. You know, it gives you it's posh. It's quite posh in its kind of delivery. The way it delivers, it's very composed. It's very structured in a clean way. The flowers are just about to get dirty, but they don't. The iris is just about to get too powdery, but it never does. The peach is just about to become obnoxious, but it doesn't really. The musk is just about to become too warm, but it doesn't. Everything is very controlled, And if you're not about that control, and the jasmine with the rose, they're just about to have a little fight, but they don't. They keep it kind of classy. They keep themselves together. Inside, they might be falling apart, but on the surface, they keep themselves together. This is what this perfume does. It reeks of trouble underneath the surface, but in the surface, you're going to show off that you're fine, because that's how you've been educated. That politeness, that kind of elegant, almost noble, like aristocratic type of detachment from emotions. This one delivers that. It gives you that coolness on the surface, but it gives you hints of trouble like it's a mess underneath, but it keeps it cool, calm, and collected in the surface. Interesting, but doesn't warrant a full bottle for me, because that peach irritates me a bit too much, because I have a tendency in general of smelling my perfumes close to me. So I'm not the type of person who's going to spray them, except for Eden. Eden is the perfect example of spray behind the knee only, and it's the best way to wear that perfume. But I usually love to spray here, wrists, everywhere close, and I kind of keep digging into my arms. I keep smelling them all day long, and this one lures me in. It does pull a spell on me in that way, because it wants me to come closer. It wants me to come in and smell it close. But every time I do, the peach slaps me in the face or in the nose. And because I have this tendency of always sniffing myself. If I didn't do that, if I didn't have that tendency, and I would just like spray it and let it be, and let just my arm be away from my nose, and I'm just moving my arms, talking throughout the day, and having wafts or whiffs of it coming to my nose, then okay, then we're good. But because I have this tendency of always wanting to sniff close and experience in depth the perfume, it's a problem for me, because the peach is a little bit too overpowering. But the musk is a very classic musk. We have smelt it in several renditions of Louis Vuitton fragrances as of late. All of them that have a musk have the same type of musk in them. It's like kind of this warm base that's not overly warm. It's just right, very composed. It's a pretty musk, but quite basic, I mean, basic in terms of like what Louis has over 20, 30 perfumes now. Yeah. Jesus says, your description makes it sound like it resembles Poème by Lancôme, also a Cavalier creation. It's lighter than Poème. Poème has something more synthetic in it. This one is more delicate, the edges are more rounded. This one fades, and this one is more like a pastel. Poème is more amber yellow. This, if you were to associate this smell to a color, it would be a pastel, more like almost a orangey peachy color, but it's like a pink peachy color, more intense in the center, and then it fuzzies out and fades out into a beautiful, very, very delicate light pastel pink, baby pink, almost fades into white. Beautiful fade, very, very fuzzy and soft fade. That's how this one is. And of course, the closer you smell it to the nose, and the closer you get to the core, and the darker that pink color gets, and the more away you are from it, and the more faded out towards a light pink white it gets. I can see some people really loving this one. Now, somebody's been asking me, will I be reviewing the extraits with Franco Gehry, who designed the bottles, right? Or the stoppers. If they give me samples, yes, but they're going to be very expensive. If I get my hands on the samples, yes, but I will not be purchasing full bottles just to do a review. That's way too much money. Oh, Paris Ryan says the Les Sabres Rosé, or the Rose Dunes. I've also reviewed that perfume. People have been saying that it smells similar to this one. To me, it doesn't. To me, they are quite different. Um, so if you like one, it doesn't mean you're going to automatically like the other. Donnie Darko asks, what's the most you would spend on a fragrance? Oof, that depends how much I like the fragrance. Um, every fragrance for me has a limit. Like this one, 120. I would not spend more, but they want 225. So this one would be tops 120 just because of the quality of the ingredients. I would still not buy it for 120 because it's not my perfume, but 120 should be the price range for this one. I think, however, the most I have paid for a perfume, well, it depends which concentration, but 100 mil eau de parfum, $290, or was it euro? For Tuberose Criminelle. That was criminal. I think that's the most expensive eau de parfum. Yeah, because Carnal Flower was not that expensive. The Carnal Flower tuberose costs less than Tuberose Criminelle. When it comes to pure perfume, well, that's a different concentration. Obviously, it's a whole different ball game, right? In terms of pricing. And I already think that's a lot of money. Like 290, that's a lot for 100 mil. Um, but if you love how something smells, what are you going to do? It's like that's the only thing you can have that smells like that. It's it's a chameleon. It keeps transforming. It's very interesting. You should try it, guys. Again, it's not for me because the peach, but it does warrant a trying out for just some clean, cool, calm, and collected fragrance that kind of exudes aristocracy in a way. If you want to play that game, go for it. I don't like playing those games, so for me it's a no-go, but I can see a lot of people who would love to play that game. And if you do love playing that game, this is the perfume for you. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, thumb it up. Let me know what your thoughts are about Spell on You in the comment section down below. Richard asks, have I tried the new vanilla diorama? Yes, I have, Richard. I actually got a little luxury miniature here of it. And you best believe, little cliffhanger here for you guys, I shall be reviewing it pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. My gosh, I'm dropping cliffhangers in every video now. It's insane. Have I tried any fragrances from Guerlain? Yes, Arlene R. I've reviewed quite a few of them. You could check them out on my main Super Dacob channel and also on my Essentially Dacob perfume channel. Andrew says, I wish they had 180 euro, 200 milliliters. They were never that cheap. I think when they started, they were 200, the first price they had. Or maybe they were 180. But those were eau de toilettes. Carnal Flower, Jesus. No, I got it for 280. Dra says, yeah, I love Guerlain. Yeah, there are some reviews already. Thank you, Dra. Yes, you know, yes. Jesus says, Vanilla Diorama, another one of them as she's jokes. I guess this was his last perfume, Demashi's last perfume before he left Dior, right? Vanilla Diorama. Go figure that that's going to be your last fragrance, a vanilla scent. A whole life's work You retire, and the last thing you leave to the world is vanilla diorama. Creed's prices are criminal, says Andrew. It could be a little bit like Poem, but it's not. It's a very bizarre. You know, the more time passes and the more you're like, okay, yes, this is Cavalier. This is Jacques Cavalier. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's like such a signature thing of his. The way he deals with Rose, it's something typical his, but it's so fascinating how he decided to go back into the 90s for this one. It has something 90s about it, some 90s quality, but without it smelling mass. It does have a niche elegance to it. You smell that the ingredients are not that cheap like they would be, you know, in a mass release product. Andrew does not like vanilla diorama, but it seems like nobody in the chats actually tried out Spell on Me. I mean, I know it's relatively new, but I thought that maybe somebody might have tried it, but nobody tried it. So I'm really curious to know in the comment section down below if any of y'all's did try it, and if you have, what did you think about Spell on Me? And until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.